Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sarah Labrat. You've already seen the title of this video and so you know that I finally named my characters. This is sort of a writing vlog slash ranting video because a couple days ago I finally named my characters. I had named them when I tried writing a query letter for a contest, and for those of you that watched that video, I did not end up winning, but that is okay because now I have a rough draft of a query letter for when I decide to start querying. But basically one of my biggest struggles with that was that my characters needed to have names and they didn't have names yet. So what I've been referring to my characters as, there are three main characters and one of them had a name and the other two did not. And they are siblings, and so I decided to call one of them the younger sister and one of them the older sister. So literally how I referred to them in their documents was YS and OS in all caps. That stand for younger sister and older sister respectively. And so when I was writing this query letter, I spent like 4 hours or something on that day trying to figure out what I should name my characters. And so I finally found names for them and I put that in the query letter. And then what was next is that after I finished the second draft of my book, which I finished a week or two ago, I believe, then kind of when I was analyzing my writing goals for May, and now it's the end of May, but when I was analyzing my writing goals for May, what I knew I needed to do was name my characters. That was going to be like my next step. However, only 2 of the characters in my book had names. And there were a lot of unnamed characters and unnamed places, and so what I needed to do was both take the names that I had put in the query letter and just start naming things. And so I finally got to name my characters, slash subbing in the names that I had come up with in the query letter. So this was really exciting because I have been working on this story for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in July. And I was probably brainstorming it for about a year before I actually really started working on it, as my main project, and so I've been really working on it for about 3 years now. But I am almost at 4 years total, and only 2 of the characters have had names, and those 2 characters only had names because I had to turn in a scene in one of my creative writing classes in college, actually the one when I studied abroad, and so I needed to name the 2 main characters that were in the scene. And so because I was forced to do that essentially, those 2 characters did have names, and those names have mostly not changed. I did make one of the names longer, and I did give them both last names because they didn't have last names yet. And I named one of the kingdoms, that most of the story takes place in. And then I named the 2 other main POVs, because there are 3, and then I named the younger sister and the older sister. But basically, they finally have names. And so I know that Word has this function where you can search for something and then replace it with something else. And so what I did was, in the first perspective that I tackled was the shortest of the 3 perspectives, being about 40 pages long. I searched for YS and then I replaced it with the name of the character. And I just clicked through to make sure that it was only searching for space, capital YS space. And then I replaced all of those with this character's name. And it worked, but I forgot that there were instances where I either started a paragraph or ended a sentence with it, or YS comma or something, other sort of punctuation mark, and I forgot about those. And so then I had to go back and just search for YS in caps and replace those with that name, but that worked. And then I went on to the second perspective, so the older sister's perspective that didn't have names put in yet. And what I did was I just did that same thing, so I searched for capital OS, and I wanted to replace all of those instances with this character's new name. And it didn't work, which is weird. And so, well, it did work, but it put her name in all caps, which I tried to figure out, and I couldn't figure out why it was doing that to me because I was not, my caps lock was not on. I was searching for OS as an entire word. And yet when I replaced it, it replaced all of them with caps lock names, which is not how I wanted that to work. And so I had to go through and do, I think it was 160 names where I had to go through and type her name out to replace it because the function in Word was not working. So now I'm very familiar with the character's name because I had to type it a lot. I might have misspelled it a few times. That'll be fun for me going into the third draft now. I do keep kind of changing what my goals are going to be, as in what my next steps are with this project. And I think that now I know that what I think I'm gonna do next, what I know that I think I'm gonna do next, does that make sense? As in this might change again, but currently I think I'm going to go through and read it and write summaries on note cards for what each of the chapters include, the characters, what happens with the plot, etc., and then rearrange those note cards so that I can intertwine the three perspectives because I wrote them independently of one another. And so basically what I'm going to work on is ironing out like timeline issues, because I'm sure there are a lot of those, because I did write these three perspectives entirely separate from one another. And while the same kind of major events happen in each of them, and the timeline is obviously the same, I just need to make sure that enough happens consistently in each of the perspectives that like the story makes sense cohesively all together, because I know that each individual perspective is structurally sound and strong, which is what I wanted, and that's why I did it that way. But that is now my next step, now that I have named my characters. And I need to just like iron out making sure that I call like things the same thing throughout the story, because there's two cities that I kind of switch around names and titles of, but I'll figure it out. And so that's kind of what's next, I think, because I finally got to name my characters. And then in other news, I am still in Minnesota.
You're playing 970.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yay!
Happy birthday.
I will be going back to Texas here shortly though, because I got a job, finally. I got a job offer, which I'm very, very excited about. And I've had a job offer now for a little over a day, and I think it's time to accept it. So I'm looking up how to write an acceptance email right now, which is really, really exciting. Yeah. I finally got a job offer that I was really interested in, and so I accepted it. And so I will be starting a new job in the next few weeks, which I'm really excited about. I am concerned about my plan to be posting twice a week, so I might have to drop it back down to one, just so that I don't feel overwhelmed with working a full-time job and trying to write and trying to post twice a week and occasionally doing live streams. So I don't know. There's nothing like official that I'm saying about that yet. I will figure that out as I start working and try to figure those things out within the first couple weeks at my job. But I am excited about, I'm getting to road trip back to Texas because I don't want to be on a plane with other people. And so I'm going to be road tripping back, and I'm going to make a video about like riding on a road trip. I mean, the road trip's going to be like 3 days, so it's not that bad. But I don't know, I think that that'll be really fun. Basically, I'm excited that I finally got to name my characters. This was a short video today, but thank you so much for watching. I'm Sarah LaBrotte. I don't know how much I post a week anymore, but it will be at least once a week, I can promise you that. And I do occasional live write-ins, and so if you are not already subscribed, this channel is almost at 900 subscribers, and I love that so much. Thank you guys. And so if you are not already subscribed, if you could hit that big red subscribe button down below, I would really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel and helps show the YouTube algorithm that you liked my video and that someone else might too. And if you enjoyed this video and me talking about my writing process, you might like some of these other videos talking about my writing process and my writing vlogs and following along on my writing journey. But alright you guys, that's it from me today. I'm Sarah LaBrotte. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye!